Welcome to the Jacksonville Bar Association podcast. My name is Craig Shoup. I'm the executive director here at the Jacksonville Bar. And today we're excited to welcome my friend, Judge Julie Taylor. Judge Taylor is a University of Florida and a Samford University Cumberland School of Law graduate. She has served as an assistant state attorney, an assistant public defender, a special magistrate, civil traffic and infraction hearing officer, and general counsel to the 4th Judicial Circuit. She's also spent time in private practice. Judge Taylor currently serves as a Duval County Court judge. I do want to say a special thank you, like we do every time, to our Jacksonville Bar Association sponsors.
I'm Matt Igo, the owner, founder, and president of Seaside Claims Services. I am a third-generation Jacksonville, Florida native. I was in the Marine Corps in an anti-terrorism battalion where I learned how to conduct surveillance and counter-surveillance and things of that nature. Seaside Claims Services provides comprehensive claims investigations and efficient process serving at a very minimal cost with a very high return on investment. Some of our services include surveillance, social media investigations, process service, background checks, recorded statements, workers' compensation investigations, auto liability claims investigations, subrogation, and notary services. You can reach Seaside Claims Services by going to our website, www.seasideclaims.com, or you can contact our office at 904-506-2123.
We appreciate the support of all of our sponsors and partners here at the Jacksonville Bar Association. Well, with all that, Judge, welcome. We're glad you're with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little about you growing up and what led you down the path to become a lawyer and now a judge.
Well, I was not one of those people that knew at 4 or 5 years old that I wanted to be a lawyer. I majored in English because it was what I loved, and I knew after that I needed to make a decision about, what to do for a career. My dad was a lawyer, so I chose to go to law school, and I was very, very fortunate my second semester to be a witness for the trial team. And when I saw what they were doing and I saw the work that they did in the courtroom, I knew it was what I wanted to do. And so that's when I really fell in love with being a lawyer, and I was so lucky to then end up in litigation after that.
So you've had a lot of different cases between your time, like we talked about, as an assistant public defender, assistant state attorney, private practice. What's a story or two that maybe either from your time as a lawyer or even your limited time, but great time so far on the bench, some stories that have really stuck with you?
Well, I just, one of the things I enjoy the most about being in county court is working with new attorneys. I remember being a brand new attorney. I practiced as an assistant public defender in front of Judge Durkee, in front of Judge Arias, Judge Shore, Judge McCallum, and I learned so much from them. And then I was in, a very unique position at the state attorney's office where I got to train new attorneys. And I think what I remember most are not only my first trials, but the first trials that those attorneys had, trying those cases with them. And then now as a judge, watching new attorneys practice in front of me. I just enjoy that process of learning. I love to see lawyers making progress because I remember what it felt like to me to make that progress myself.
So when we talked about that a little more here, we've seen a lot of young lawyers are staking around here in Jacksonville and are starting their practices, either hanging their own shingle or maybe they're joining some sort of mid-large size firm. And with the evolution of Zoom in court, you're seeing, I'm sure, on the bench, more and more attorneys from all around the state practicing here in the Northeast Florida area.
Right.
What are some things you think these young lawyers and lawyers new to the circuit here should know about practicing here in the Fourth?
Well, I think that they should remember first and foremost that professionalism is so important. And unfortunately, because we have so many new lawyers starting out on their own, they don't necessarily have mentors the way we did as we were coming up through the profession. So I would say, be sure to go out and get a mentor. Be sure to get somebody who can talk to you about what is expected from the judges in the circuit. And then also, if you don't necessarily have access to a mentor a lot of the time, stay in court when you're there. Watch how more experienced attorneys handle hearings, handle different types of sentencing procedures. Even in civil cases, zoom in to a court that's having civil hearings online and watch those so you can see the way more experienced attorneys handle different issues and different types of hearings. And I think, new lawyers have to remember that we're all learning. And so it's okay if you stay and watch and you try to pick up little tips here and there from attorneys that might be more experienced than you are.
I'll do a little plug here for our mentoring committee. If you're a new lawyer or even a not so new lawyer and you're looking for a mentor, reach out to me here at the office and we'll get you connected with a mentor for sure. As part of your part of being a member of the JaxBar and your membership with us, we were happy to connect you with somebody to be a mentor for you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Judge, tell us a little bit about what you see as the value in being a part of the Jacksonville Bar Association.
Well, there are so many different programs, like you just mentioned, the mentoring program, and then also just the opportunity to meet lawyers that you might not otherwise meet in your daily practice. I know for me, I primarily practiced in criminal law, and since being a part of the Jacksonville Bar Association, I've been able to meet so many attorneys that practice in other areas, civil, probate, bankruptcy, so many other things that I never got the chance to interact with before because of my particular practice. So I know I've been thankful to the JBA for meeting those other lawyers and for participating in committees and programs that are only available through the JBA.
Not long ago, you wrote a great article for the Bar Bulletin.
I did.
Another benefit of being a part of membership, for sure.
Absolutely.
So I'll tell you, one of my favorite parts of this podcast is this last question, and we always kind of go with this, and I love spending a lot of time on this because that's just me. What are some favorite restaurants you and your family like to go have a meal at?
Well, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm Lebanese, and so I grew up on that food, and we're always searching for food that reminds me of the food my grandmother used to make. And so my mom and I go a lot to Nora's, which is in Lakewood. Has amazing Lebanese food if you ever are in that area. And then we also love Cuban food. We go to a place called Empanadas around Bay Meadows and Phillips, and it's very, very good. So those are my two favorite.
Those are two great spots. I don't think we've had those two listed yet.
Oh, good,
so
good.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Judge, something I know is you're, of course, passionate about the appointment process. What are some things that you learned about yourself and the process through that?
Well, it's not always an easy process, and I think when you go into it, you have to remember that it's not necessarily going to be a quick process. You have to go into it with the idea that it might take a while to get through it, but all the work is worth it when you get to that end result. I went through it for 3 years. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the law, and hopefully made improvements to my own practice, my own knowledge that now helps me on the bench. But I think it's so important that we have people who are applying to be judges who truly have an interest in doing the work. And so whenever someone has a question or is thinking about the process or going through the process, I'm always happy to meet with them and try to give them, advice based upon what I learned going through it for 3 years.
I know the JNC is always saying they're looking for more and more and more qualified applicants. And we always, as the Bar Association, want to encourage qualified applicants to apply.
Absolutely. And it seems that, unfortunately, the lists have gotten a little bit smaller than they used to be. I think years ago it used to be the norm that you would see 15, 20 names, and now we're seeing less than 10. And I think it's because people are unsure about the process. They're not sure if they're really qualified to go through the process. But I can promise you there are people out there that are more qualified than they think. So if anyone who sees this has an interest in the process and just wants to talk about it and decide whether or not they want to go through it, I'm always happy to speak with them.
So Judge, let's say somebody wants to reach out to you about maybe helping them find a mentor or how to get more involved in the bar possibly, or some other non-case related matter. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Anyone can always reach out to me at my office. I'm always happy to talk to anyone about mentoring or the JBA, or for me, something I'm passionate about is the appointment process for judges. It's something that I went through for quite a while before I became a judge. So I'm always happy to meet with anyone that might be interested in that process, but always reach out to me at my office, and I'm happy to meet with anyone.
Everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.